So it just leaves us hanging a little bit. It doesn't totally wrap things up like a perfect authentic cadence does. Our next, so keeping a tally. Our half cadence is going to be 1 or something else to 5. I just want to make it super easy and obvious for you guys. All right. Our next cadence is often called the Amen cadence because it's at the end of a lot of those old Lutheran hymns. So you Amen, that whole shtick. And this is known as a plagal cadence. So plagal cadence is always going to be 4 to 1. So instead of being a perfect authentic cadence where you go 5 to 1, the only difference is you're going from a 4 chord to a 1 chord. So plagal, 4 to 1. So an example we have here. Still an E flat, whoops. So we do so if we analyze all these guys, all of these voices, right? We're still in E flat. We get E flat, C, A, right? So we've got an A, C, E flat, or A flat, C, E flat, right? And then here's our A, we're just doubling it. So it's obviously the 4th chord in an E flat major scale, right? And then here we've got our good old friend E flat major back. So we have E flat, G, B, E, G, B. So big old 1 chord right there. And I'll play it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Can you hear that? So you have the big Amen. So that's all it is. All right, our final cadence that you have to know about is called a deceptive cadence. So a deceptive cadence is exactly as it sounds. A deceptive cadence is purposely going to deceive the listener into thinking that they're going to hear a perfect authentic cadence. So deceptive cadence sets the listener up with a very nice 5 chord, and then it goes to basically anything else. Most often you'll hear like a minor 6, something like that, or a 7, or a major 6, or a major 4, but it can go anywhere. So you can literally pull anything, all right? So deceptive starts, the most important thing is it starts with a 5, and it goes to anything but 1. So the only thing it can't land on is the 1 chord, because then people will think it's a major chord, right? Or a perfect authentic cadence. So in this case, good example. Let's see. Still an E flat. So in this case, we're going from 5 to a minor 6. So we have F, D, G, sorry, B flat, and low B flat. So our 5 chord is back. And then we go to something totally different. Something totally unexpected. So it deceives the listener, it temporarily tricks them. So I'll play one of those for you real quick. So here it is. Totally different, out of left field. So it just completely deceives the listener. They're expecting one thing and then it takes them in another direction. So that's the deceptive cadence, and those are the 4 that you need to worry about. So just to recap very quickly, we have perfect authentic cadence. The shorthand for it is PAC. So you're going to go 5 or 5/7 to 1. A half cadence, you're just going to flip it around. So it's going to be 1 to 5. Right? The plagal cadence is the amen cadence. It's going to go 4 to 1 instead of 5 to 1. And then the deceptive cadence is going to start on 5 and make you think you're going to 1, but it goes to something else, anything but 1. All right? So those are cadences in a nutshell. And the first few things in your book are going to have you working on cadences and just identifying cadences based on what you see. Now, there are other pieces of information that you need to know. And this is helpful if you have your book, but if you don't, it's okay. So there are tones that are outside of your regular chord, right? Because we have to have melody, and this is usually seen in melodies. And they're known as non-harmonic tones. So a non-harmonic tone can you see that? That is really bad. Let me lower that. Is any tone that doesn't belong in a chord. So any tone and we have special names for these tones, or non-harmonic tones, because they serve different purposes and they show up in different ways. So, our first non-harmonic tone is called a passing tone. Okay? So, if I write it up here, is that going to be legible? Maybe it's better down here. All right, passing tone. I'll do them all down here. And if you want to follow along, this is on page 102 in your book. So a passing tone means that it's a tone going from one note, connecting one note to the next. So if our chord has, maybe it's an F major chord, right? So we've got F, and we've got A, FAC, right? Right? One of these notes doesn't fit into that chord. We've got an F, an A, and a C. They all fit. This B right here does not fit at all. So we call him a passing tone because he's sort of stuck in passing, right? In between the notes. And this can happen ascending or descending. So it's got to be between two notes that are in the chord, basically. That's what identifies a passing tone. So if we had this, right there, right here's the passing tone. The shorthand for this is PT. So that's how you identify a passing tone in a passage of music. You just circle the one that doesn't fit and you call it PT, passing tone. Now the next kind of non-harmonic tone is a neighboring tone. And you can imagine it's exactly what it says. So if we have our F back, our F chord, then maybe our C, and then we briefly go down to B and back to C, that's called a passing tone, or a neighboring tone, sorry. So it's a neighbor. It goes down and then it goes immediately back to the original note that's supposed to be in the chord. These above or below the note. And they're both considered neighboring tones. And the shorthand for labeling this is NT, just like that. All right, so our next non-harmonic tone is the escape tone. So in this case, our non-harmonic tone is going to come from above. So it's going to be a step above and then drop down a third. And this is the note. So you'll always see this. So you go up a step and down a third, and that's what an escape tone is. And the shorthand is ET. All right? Now the opposite of this is known as appoggiatura. So appoggiatura, let's make sure I spell it right. There's a lot of double letters. So appoggiatura instead is going to go up a third and then down a step. So it resolves down a step. All right? And the shorthand for this is APP, appoggiatura. All right, so remember, escape tone, up a step, down a third. Appoggiatura, up a third, down a step. All right, our next guy is a suspension. Now you may think that suspensions are a lot of different things, but actually suspension is very, very specific. So suspension, so we've got our common tone here, maybe F, A, C. And it's going to sustain that C and then resolve on the B. Something like that. All right? So it suspends the first note from the previous chord, and then on the tonic chord it holds over, and then it finally wraps up. So this is called a suspension, and the shorthand for it is S-U-S, sus, and it always resolves down. All right, so that's important to know. It always is going to resolve down.